Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. Today I will be discussing my thoughts on how to build your first Crusade roster. Bear in mind that Crusade is not match play and you're not looking at building a competitive list in the same way. Crusade is narrative and your initial force should fit the basic theme of your chosen army. Crusade starts at 1,000 points and you are looking at building a starting roster of just under that limit. You might not want to fill the full 1,000 points because you will still need to leave some space for an enhancement which you would choose when you build your list from your roster. With that in mind, the first thing you need to choose once you have picked the codex you'll be using is your first character. As much as I would like to say take an epic hero if you have one, don't at this stage. The reason why comes down to the wording of one of the requisitions in the Crusade rules, Renowned Heroes. Renowned Heroes is a 1 RP requisition that you must take as soon as you add your first character to your roster. It's a bit of an unnecessary RP tax in my opinion, and I'm not sure why Games Workshop included it this way, but without it you cannot take enhancements. Renowned Heroes gives that character a slot, my wording, to take an enhancement, and then allows you to spend an increasing amount of RP when you add new characters to your roster for them to be able to take enhancements. Without paying this point straight off the bat, you can never have enhancements. If you are playing a custom sub-faction or your army has no specific epic heroes, pick one that makes the most sense to leading your army. For my homebrew Space Marine chapter, for example, I've taken my chapter master, even though right now by the rules he's a captain and I've got to get him to chapter master by playing through the rules from my codex. As always, think to the narrative in Crusade. Once you have a character to lead your army, my next recommendation is to take 3 battle line units. In match play you probably wouldn't bother, but for Crusade these should be the core of your starting force. Take whatever you feel is most thematic to your army, whether it's intercessors, orc boys, necron warriors, whatever. Don't spend RP to increase unit size, save those points and keep them to the minimum squad size for now. Play a few Crusade games first and then see if you want to add or change anything. Also, those requisition points might be needed to remove battle scars or activate other requisitions. Next up, you want something to get you around the table. I recommend Outriders, Jet Bikes or Tomb Blades. Something fast and tough that can zoom around to grab objective or complete agendas for you depending on what the mission requirements are. You could replace these with fast jump pack units like Warp Spiders or Raptors if you wanted to. I prefer the tougher and faster mounted options, but not to be a stuck record. Make sure that what you take fits the narrative of your army. You are then going to want something tough to deal with enemy armor or monsters. I suggest something along the lines of a dreadnought, some sort of armored walker, a single tank or monster of some kind. And once you have that, you have the very core of your Crusade roster. And now you can start to fill out any remaining points with units you would like to take. Perhaps even a second cheap character like an apothecary or a lieutenant. Look at what your roster is missing, and if you can get a couple extra units in, go for it. Now, that aside, there are 2 armies where this approach doesn't work, and they are the Imperial and Chaos Knights. In their case, it's difficult, but I would just suggest a single Titanic character to be the Warlord, and then fill out your roster with smaller things like Armigers and War Dogs. You could take multiple Titanic units, and although thematic, early on it isn't going to produce a fun game for your opponent. Not at the initial stage, and having fun is what Crusade is all about. You now have a good starting roster for your Crusade games, and you can add or update as you play. Crusade is a great way to slowly add your collection to your roster over time. You'll have experienced units to take against other experienced players and their armies, and you'll have default options that you can use to introduce new players to Crusade. without giving them a bad experience. One last thing to think about is legend units. Crusade is not match play and definitely not competitive. Legends are perfectly viable for a Crusade game, and no one should have a problem with your using them under this system. Legends has some good options, and it might even let you field some units you thought lost when they were removed from the game under 10th edition. Over the next few videos, I will be looking at battle scars, battle honours, and how the Codex-specific Crusade rules work. We'll even take a look at the Tyrannic War-specific rules and the missions themselves. If you have any queries or suggested Crusade topics for me, let me know down below, and we'll see where this takes us. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching, take care and good gaming.